Hey guys, so I'm making a video for you today, and I've done no prop. I'm not going to do any proper editing for this and you probably will hear my dishwasher in the background. I wanted to edit this properly and make kind of a real pretty video out of it and stuff, but just as time constraints go, it doesn't work out. And I want to get this video out before the 4th of December because that's going to be an important date, I think, in the history of Qubic, but also the history of the whole crypto space. I think December is going to be it's going to be a big month. So instead of I was going to create slides and stuff for this, but I'm just not going to have time. So I'm just going to talk you through an article that I wrote about this and go into a little bit more detail than the article goes into. Basically, in this article, I'm just discussing how Qubic, has woke up in November. As we can see, the price spiked a bit. Still not back to all time highs, but it looks like it might get back to there. But also how there's some signs that December could be a huge, huge, huge month for Qubic and for the crypto space in general. Now, that's not guaranteed. I'm not guaranteeing that, but just I'm picking up on some signs, and I want to just let you know some of the reasons why it could be a huge month for Qubic. So, the first reason I addressed was Sergey Ivancheglo. So this guy's the creator of Qubic, and he's one of the OGs of the crypto space. I mean, he was back in 2009 mining Bitcoin. He was working on crypto technology and trying to advance crypto technology and AI technology, blockchain technology, all this sort of stuff. Before Bitcoin existed, and then he created the first proof of stake project, created the first DAG projects, and all through the history of crypto from Bitcoin's inception and before that, his fingerprints were all over this space. So this guy's an OG, and what's really important about that, and he shared stuff to this point, and he's people have asked like how is he so confident that Qubic's going to pump, and he said because he knows the people who run the crypto industry, and that's could be rubbish. Sounds like a big claim, but think about it. If he's been there since the start, he's been there since the time when no one cared about Bitcoin. I mean, he's been there when Binance and Coinbase were starting up, and those were small projects, just little apps. And he probably knew the people starting them up personally and talked to them, and they probably were eager to launch his projects on their sites back then. And he's probably doing them, almost a favor to say, come on, let's work together. So he probably knows them, probably has their number in his phone and knows them on a first name basis, or something like that. He's definitely well known to them. So he's going to not only have connections like that, but he's going to be privy to a lot of information about, because these markets are all manipulated, and maybe you're like me years ago and you don't believe that, because I didn't believe that years ago. But the more experience you get in this space, the more you realize it's all manipulation and all planned. And when these pumps happen, they're all planned. And a lot of the OGs of the space and a lot of people are aware when those pumps are going to come. And I feel like Sergey Ivancheglo might be one of those people. His previous projects have pumped like crazy. So Ivancheglo is just someone to listen for. And he says that December, a lot of stuff's going to happen. And he said, you haven't seen anything like what's going to happen with Qubic until December. And he said December the 4th is when the real bull run starts for Qubic. Now, that doesn't mean Qubic's going to pump on December the 4th, but he's saying there's some things coming into action on that date that are going to start pumping Qubic, and we'll talk about that. Then the next reason I give is the white paper, obviously launched in November. I've discussed that in another video, but the far-reaching ramifications of the white paper is that now a tier 1 listing is possible, because tier 1 listings require a white paper. I think OKX already is ready to go and launch Qubic, but I think they've been holding it off to December because you've got to realize all this stuff is timing. It's all planned, and they've held so much stuff back till December, and they held the white paper for the end of November, kind of for the pre-pump. It's like they're going to release all these big things over the next month just to keep Qubic bouncing on that wave, or that's what I see happening. So that's why the white paper is released. It's going to attract, it's going to get them listed on a tier 1 exchange eventually, anyway, and I think that could come in December. Then we've got the Votum bridges, and they connect to the Ethereum and Arbitrum networks, and they're that's a really big deal, because Qubic's now going to be bridged to those networks, and this is launching in December as well. And it means all that liquidity from Arbitrum and Ethereum is going to come into Qubic. And that's just the first bridges. I'm pretty sure they're going to announce more bridges almost straight away once those launch. And Qubic's going to be connecting to Solana, Avalanche, all the major crypto networks. So that's going to be huge. Then, as we mentioned, that tier one listing, I'm expecting that to come. Now, on December the 4th, some really interesting stuff's going to happen. So, on December the 4th, this scientific paper is going to launch. And this scientific paper is going to cover AGART or AIGART, which is the AI element of Qubic. And it's written by two guys called David Vivancos and Dr. Sanchez. His first name is escaping me right now. Apologies. But both of those guys, Jose Sanchez, I think is the name, both those guys are writing this scientific paper and it's been peer reviewed. And they're going to discuss Qubic's intelligent tissue and the work that Qubic's been doing with AGART and the results that they're seeing. And I presume the scientific paper has got something interesting to say. Otherwise, there's no reason for it to exist. And it's interesting when David Vivancos was asked about this about what he was seeing with AIGART or AGART. They asked him, how excited are you about this project and the AI that it's developing? And he said, out of a score out of 10, he's 10 out of 10 excited. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean anything, but like Vivancos and Sanchez are renowned scientists. Now, they're not, Qubic says world renowned. I wouldn't go as far as to say they're world renowned, but they're known internationally and they're renowned for being, reliable and skilled scientists and are well known. Vivancos is around 20 years, has released 3 books in AI, has released many papers. Same with Sanchez. They're, a pretty big deal. These guys are not going to be risking their careers on writing a paper about something that's bullshit. So I imagine on the 4th of December, that scientific paper is going to be really, really interesting and it might, send Qubic really high. Now, I don't know that, but I'm just thinking that that is possible. Also on December the 4th, and you see a lot of this stuff is coming on December the 4th, and Qubic isn't the only project that's aiming for December the 4th. Real insider projects like XRP are announcing things on December the 4th as well. It's like a lot of these top projects are aiming for December the 4th, or these OGs with insider knowledge are aiming for December the 4th for some reason. I'm not saying December 4th, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying I'm seeing signs that something is really going to happen then, or we're going to hit a full blown all season, during December, and it might start off on December the 4th, or the wheels might be put in motion. Price mightn't pump on that day, but the wheels might be put in motion to get the prices of these projects to pump. Also, I just want a complete disclaimer as well. Maybe we're at the end of all season. Maybe December December the 4th is the end of all season, the whole bull run. That's possible too. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible too. Nothing's guaranteed. So you always have to be skeptical of what's going to happen. But anyway, on December the 4th, so the Q Vault IPO is happening. I'll make another video about Q Vault, but basically, Q Vault is doing an IPO. People can bid for shares for owning a share in their decentralized app. They'll receive passive income for it. But the interesting part is the money that they bid all gets burned, or most of it gets burned. So a decent supply of Qubic. I get the feeling it's not going to be huge. Could be huge. Previous Qubic IPOs have burned trillions of Qubic. This one's probably going to be more like billions, but you never know. It could be a huge IPO and burn a trillion Qubic or something. But that's happening on December the 4th. And just this project in itself is a big step forward for Qubic. I'll talk about it in another video, and it's a bullish thing that's happening with Qubic. Then the 4th of December, we just have other releases that are really important that they've been talking about. So some of these are that there's just some major upgrades happening to the Qubic network, and we'll see will these pump Qubic. But one of them is that they're doing a final RAM update, 2 terabytes of RAM, and this means that Qubic will finally be running at full throttle. It's doubling, I'm pretty sure, its RAM capacity now, and that could mean that Qubic is twice as fast, twice as scalable as it is now. And tests could show that's even quicker and even more scalable than we originally thought it was. So that's a big deal. And then a really big one is that the miners are finishing developing the intelligent tissue on this date. And it's the date that they're releasing the scientific paper about the intelligent tissue that they've created, which is just an artificial neural network development. And it's from that date that they're going to start directly training artificial intelligence. And then Anna Agart, which I've mentioned in other videos, the first bot that's built in Agart, will be progressing as a project, and we might be seeing something interesting from it in December that will display Qubic's AI at work. And apparently, it's moving forward to a next step on December 4th. Then in December, I think this might be December 4th as well, QEarn is launching. And this is going to be a staking platform on Qubic where people can earn passive income from their Qubic just by locking up their Qubic and staking it like any other platform. And then, you got to think that locked up Qubic is going to reduce the available supply of Qubic for people to buy. So there's going to be a reduction in supply. But then also the ability to earn passive income from Qubic is going to create more demand. So reduce supply, more demand. What happens to price based on that? So that's a big deal. Venture capitalists. So the Qubic team is saying that they've got up to $100 million worth of venture capitalists wanting to invest like $100 million into Qubic, buy it. They'll buy it over the counter, but then they'll be really, really motivated to pump the price of Qubic, build projects on it, and really make it take off. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it does, it's a big deal. The Qubic team seems to be saying that's definitely happening, but nothing's guaranteed. But I believe them. I don't think they're lying about saying that, but we'll see in time what happens with it. And then, of course, there's the mining of Monero, which is a super bullish thing. It was meant to start on December the 4th, but it's been postponed slightly. But basically what it is Qubic has a useful proof of work model. I discussed this in detail in other videos, but basically it takes all the mining power that's usually wasted and it can use it to train its AI in Agart. But then they've created this thing called interleaved mining, which means half of the mining power goes to Agart and the other half can be used for any purpose. And they are targeting mining Monero because Monero is easier to mine with CPUs and Qubic is mining is focused on CPUs. So that's why they've picked Monero. And the plan is to mine Monero. And then the Monero that they mine, they're going to sell straight away for USDT. And then they're going to use that USDT to buy Qubic. And when they buy that Qubic, they're going to burn that Qubic straight away. And they're going to keep doing that in a continuous process and create buying pressure on Qubic while also reducing the supply at the same time. It's a really, really cool idea for multiple reasons. It's going to raise the price of Qubic, reduce the supply of Qubic, and it's going to be a proof of concept that the useful proof of work model really works. But the only issue that they've been experiencing has something got to do with the way that they mine Qubic, the programming that's required, and they're switching to something called a messaging system. I don't understand it in detail, but they're working on coding that right now, and that's what the delay is. But it might still happen in December, and that'll be super bullish if it does. But only time will tell. And that's basically it, guys. We've got some other things that probably lots of other things that are launching in December. Pretty sure QFront is launching in December, which is going to be a user interface for everything on the Qubic. And Qubic is the front door where you come into the Qubic ecosystem. And it's going to make everything really pretty and user-friendly. I think the plan is to release that in December, but it might come later. I think there's loads of other projects releasing their initial betas or whatever you want to call it in December and early next year. So a lot of this stuff, I believe, has been planned for this time to try and boost Qubic on the back of a bull run. If I don't know if it'll work, but if it does work, it's going to be amazing, and hopefully we'll all be millionaires out of it. But this is not financial advice. Who knows what will happen? I'm not guaranteeing anything. I just wanted to share you this quick video without any editing or anything like that, just to let you know what might potentially happen over the next few days. Exciting times.